Before all his fame, fortune, and controversy, Tupac Shakur was first and foremost a poet.
If you walk by a street and you was walking on concrete and you saw a rose growing out of concrete, even if it had messed up petals and it was a little, to the side, you would marvel at just seeing a rose grow through concrete. So why is it that when you see some ghetto kid grow out of all of the dirtiest circumstances and he can talk and he can sit across from you, make you smile, make you cry, make you laugh, all you can talk about is my dirty rose, my dirty stems, and how I'm leaning crooked to the side. You can't even see that I came up out of that.
The Rose That Grew From Concrete is a stunning collection of poetry penned by a young Tupac Shakur before he was famous.
It's his words, his most intimate thoughts, stuff that he didn't put in rhymes.
I think it's fantastic. I think it's what will shock a lot of people, only used to his records. They'll be shocked to think that he has that kind of a sensitive nature about so many different kinds of things.
The Rose That Grew From Concrete Volume 1 is the album version of selected poems from the book and features a diverse collection of poets, actors, and musicians interpreting his words.
What it represents is our understanding of who Tupac is, and Tupac's life was diverse, and his friends were diverse, and his lifestyle was diverse, and so I think it's appropriate.
One of the most provocative artists of our time, Shakur would later be loved, hated, feared, and idolized. But he was once just a young kid growing up in a turbulent atmosphere.
Tupac lived a very complicated life.
Literally born in very revolutionary times.
He was a baby Black Panther.
Political prisoners run through my tree like a mother.
We taught him that he could not rely on the U.S. government. He could not rely on City Hall. He could not rely on the police. He had to rely on himself.
So he has all this history and certain anger within him, toward the system. And his whole thing was he was going to get the people in the nation together.
Tupac inherited his mother's Panther ideal. In many of his songs, he fiercely rallied Black youth by addressing the struggles faced daily in African-American communities.
I believe that I'm a natural-born leader. I don't really take orders. I can take orders because I'm a good soldier, but I like to give orders.
Tupac stood for all the people who have no voice, from the community.
Lower class, that's what we were trying to reach.
Pac wanted to reach the brothers who don't even read.
I represent the hardcore, grab at you, no holds barred, no prisoners, relentless, hustle to the early morning, hustler type of person.
He said simply, listen to my voice, listen to what I'm saying, and let's do something about it.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world. I don't know how to change it. But I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody's going to clean it up.
As a young man in Baltimore, Tupac acted in Shakespeare plays and attended a performing arts high school. A poetic soul who was also the proud son of a true revolutionary.
From ancient African civilization, poets went from village to village. And that's how stories and messages and lessons were taught.
Poetry was a part of Tupac's everyday life, as was the theater, as was every type of music.
His mother, Fanny, exposed him to a lot of artistic worlds outside of the music business.
I always saw Pac scribbling, but I didn't know he was writing poetry. I thought that was just a verse to the next song he was working on.
It's a very fine line between just a poem or a rap. They're really the same thing.
He told me, no rappers is poets, right? That's all we is, ghetto poets.
Every word it came right out of his soul.
Maybe his poetry was a little more sacred to him because he never was like, Rich, check out this poem I wrote. I think he probably did that with the lady.
Probably the biggest romantic that there ever was and didn't want anybody to know that.
It was really neat to look at the way he wrote it down. Not only, what he was saying, but how it was written. And a lot of the words he substituted with little symbols like the eyeball for the word eye. And man after my own heart.
I don't think Tupac worked to be famous, he worked to be heard.
Pac is just real. This is how I feel, this is what I'm going through.
His poetry is very revealing. If people knew him outside of his public image and knew him as a friend, this is kind of the Tupac that we knew.
It wound up that he had all of these influences and the understandings of life, and he saw beyond just one town. And that usually helps any MC, much less a freedom fighter and a prophet and a guru like Tupac.
Poetry and Panther pride motivated Tupac and helped him overcome adversity. One of the most moving songs on The Rose That Grew From Concrete, Volume 1, is Can You See the Pride in the Panther? Recorded by Mos Def, it is based on Tupac's poignant poem about the Black Panther movement that shaped his life.
I spoke to Mos Def and I told him what Pac was trying to talk about here, which was the life of women, Panthers, who had to keep going and raise children and keep working once the men were dead in jail or wherever. And within 15 minutes, Mos Def had gone back into the studio, and this was laid down.